Oh, it's mental. We're like 20 minutes from anywhere. It's It's like these people. It's like these people have just discovered fire or something. I can't believe it. What are you doing here? So.
We've never known anyone who isn't French. What is?
No, exactly. It's 20 minutes from anywhere.
Cool. Audio's good there.
Yeah, what?
Yeah. Right, let's get the intro. Whoops, didn't want to do that. Let's get the intro music on cue, and then post the link. That's ready there. Post the link here.
I can't see your screen, by the way.
That would be a helpful thing. Thank you for mentioning that. I completely forgot to do that.
I can see myself just fine.
Yeah, I hastily set everything up, and I actually probably did it in record time, but I did forget to do that. So, here we go. No audio, please. Alright.
Just so I can line myself up.
Yeah, that should be coming up now.
There we go.
Good eye. Cool. Right, intro music.
Where?
Yep, you can step away. It's alright, mate.
I'm just going to move that out.
The whole Leach idea effect. Not really happened.
Nigel couldn't make it.
Yeah.
I rang up Mendon already said he could make it.
Don't think this whole Phil, credit to the guy, always manages to do well what he has to. He is a shocking personality. You guys got a trophy? No.
It was pre-vim.
No, my life from Richard Mendon.
Right, you go. I'm a tag, Jack! I'm a fucking tag!
Hello and welcome to the penultimate episode of the Offseason series in the LOC report. I am joined by Chris yet again. How's it going, Chris?
Yeah, good. That's it. We're back for more. That's it. In this now very normal world that we live in. That's it. It's just so normal, in fact, that you can do anything you want. Everything's cheaper, but all you got to do is wear a face mask. Which, to be honest with you, if someone said to me, "That's it, you can have your goods for 15% cheaper, but you got to wear a face mask everywhere," I'd have gone, "Yes." Before all this, so
yeah, you're not wrong. Me and Becky went to the baseball place on Friday in Southampton, and and obviously I worked the 4 days, so we went on the Friday where it was, I think a half an hour session was cheaper than an hour session was cheaper than what a half an hour session would have been on a Saturday. We just took our masks to walk through town. There, obviously, there's only one person manning it, and then they just leave you to it. So, yeah, you're not wrong there. It's good, isn't it? And you're going to France, of course, which
I am.
Who would have thought a few months ago? Sorry.
This is it, and this is the sea change that's sort of happened over the last maybe month or so. Is that from travel being absolutely outlawed to 2 weeks ago, if that actually, I say really a week and a little bit ago, everything's sort of returning to some sort of normality. So we'll see. I'll be able to review how it went in a couple of weeks' time, perhaps,
sure.
when we come back. But yeah, it's certainly feeling slightly more normal in this country. That's for sure.
Yeah, good. If I'm welcome as well, I may even come back to the church football training at some point as well. Health-wise, I'm in a pretty good place, so it'd be nice to actually come back and play with you guys again. So
we actually have no goalkeeper at the moment. He's
okay.
Injured, so it would be lovely.
Well then, I will.
If anybody out there wants to do that,
yes, of course, yeah. So they're very nice chaps. Mike's in there as well.
Yes.
Yeah, please do come along. But anyway, we're here to talk Hall of Fame nomination today, aren't we, Chris? And today we've got Viv.
Yeah.
And you may guess a theme, as this one is actually one of the two repeat nominations from last season. But before we all get into all that jazz, we of course have some league news for you. I'm just going to turn down the speakers so I do not deafen you all. But here is the jingle. Hopefully your eardrums are still intact, because you need to be able to hear that the draft date is on Saturday the 29th of August.
Don't forget, everybody, because really it's not that far away now.
It is about a month away. A month and 2 weeks, so a month and a half away. It is, and next time we do a podcast, Chris, Sorry, when we're out of the off-season series, it will be less than a month away. So how scary is that?
Well, this is it, and I mean, you have to think to yourself, that's it. Your prep's starting now. That's it. You got to get yourself in there. This is where, often we talk about where drafts are won and lost. Well, preparation is key.
It's tough though this time of year because usually we would have had mini camps, OTAs, everything. They would have reported and whatnot. None of that has happened yet, so it's still very up in the air.
Yeah, not a lot of news, but again, I think that will start to filter through over the next little while.
Sure.
No preseason or anything like that, as we know. So, you're going to go to a standing start. So, my advice to you is who has a franchise that is in a good position. So, who doesn't live in dysfunction?
There you go. Yeah, that's good advice.
Think about that and work your way in. So
Yeah.
No dysfunctional folk, because if they're dysfunctional in normal surroundings, what are they going to be like?
At the moment, yeah. Speaking of which, that leads us on nicely to the coronavirus and sports update. Obviously, Premier League ticking along. I did see one player tested positive, but it wasn't any major news. I only just saw it somewhere, so obviously nothing too major. In the US, we are rapidly approaching the time when NBA is going to return. I know baseball, they're practicing. Yeah, I know baseball, they're still practicing and stuff, but their season should be returning shortly as well. But while all that's going on, the NFL is still, I will use the word floundering, because Roto-World is having quite a field day with all of the stuff the league is coming out and saying they are doing about coronavirus, but it's actually so trivial they may as well not have bothered, and they're actually not solving any of the problems. Case in point, Chris, they have said that they will ban players swapping jerseys this season. That is the hot button topic.
Whoa!
Yep.
I mean, that's fairly obvious stuff, I would say.
But I would also say, if they're running around on the field together, rubbing up against each other the whole game, what the fuck does it matter they swap a jersey?
This is true. But I mean, if it can live on surfaces for some time.
That is a factor. Yeah, but
taking it home maybe a little bit dodgy. But I would say that was on the list of things to do. I would say is a no. Sharing other people's things generally no. Other people's water bottles generally no.
Definitely no. Yeah.
The Gatorade guy, what's he gonna do? This is what we forget. What is the Gatorade guy going to do on the sideline now? Yeah,
we saw in Premier League that the ball boy's been replaced by a cone, so maybe they will get a cone of their own.
Well, maybe maybe the players just have to serve themselves on the sideline now.
Tough times for NFL players indeed.
I mean, unbelievable.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they ever do that.
But you can tell just by mining Chris's satirical conversation there that the NFL is not doing a good job at the moment of planning coronaviruses. Things in the States are still largely out of control, certainly in certain places. We have actually seen teams start to set occupancy limits on their games this season. Quite a few have come out and basically said it will be like a quarter of what it usually is, 20%.
That's an interesting point, because the Jags came out and said that, and they don't ever sell out anyway.
Yeah, Roto-World had a field day with that one too. That was great.
I bet they did. That's it. They came out and said, "Oh yeah, we can only have 25% capacity." Well, I mean that's like a normal home ground. It's like a normal home capacity for them. Why would they do that? I just don't quite get that.
Indeed, yeah, and. But for the Eagles, they aren't going to be able to have anyone, because the mayor of Philadelphia has said that no, just basically. So they will have no fans. They're raising that point again of the competitive advantage, though I would also kind of doubt that, could 25% of a crowd have that much of an impact? Some entire crowds can't have that much of an impact, so I think you can throw that out of the way. But from a safety perspective, it's still, we don't have any of that in the Premier League at the moment. And granted, obviously the NFL isn't until September, where the Premier League, I think, are also hoping to have fans in seats. But our situation here is vastly different from where it is over there.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think that they can take any sort of risk right now. Home field advantage makes a great deal of difference, I think, when you have fans in the stadium. You know, you look at Pittsburgh, you look at New Orleans, you look at I don't
Kansas.
know,
Yeah.
Kansas,
New England. Yeah. Seattle.
Seattle for sure, yeah. You know, those kind of teams, particularly New Orleans, I think that thrive on that sort of home field advantage. They do so much better at home than they do away from it. But let's be honest, if you're a good team, you're not going to lose anywhere, are you? Really, you know, you shouldn't make a difference. You know, Patrick Mahomes is still going to be good wherever he might play, even if it's Arrowhead and not in it. You know, Michael Thomas is still going to catch balls, despite the fact that he hasn't got a load of guys cheering his name in the Superdome. You know, the one thing that might happen though is that other teams become, you know, the away team becomes competitive.
Yeah.
Which I would like to see. I don't mind that.
No,
I would prefer. No. I prefer to see a game where you can really tell the balance or the who is a better team. You know, I home field advantage, as we saw in the Premier League, does make a difference when it's there. But now, how even is it? It's really how many 0-0s, 1-0s, 2-1s do you see in the league? Loads. So if it serves to do that and make exciting games out of it, then I'm all for it. And obviously it keeps people safe as well. So it should be interesting to see. I think that while more states move out of lockdowns and problems, and certainly when you've got states that haven't got quite as much of an issue, such as ones that, you know, that are naturally more rural or more in the north, and they go allow fans in, then I think that's fair enough, because the country's too big to have a blanket rule. But if you're somewhere who's sat down in Florida right now and you're trying to let fans into stadiums, that's crazy.
And to your point about there is so much we can look at the Premier League here, you know, for possibly what is to come. You mentioned about the quality of games. In the Premier League, it's probably a slightly different case, because obviously their season was interrupted and they've come back and had to restart. So it is understandable that the level of play isn't necessarily all there. But like you said, in terms of the away factor, broadly, it kind of, we have had a bit more competitive games, but I still, you look at the results and you know, an away team does well. It's just how it goes, isn't it? So I think that's how it'll be in the States too. So so we'll just have to see what the NFL has up its sleeve, but they're not planning much at the moment. Anyway, now thinking back to a time way before coronavirus was even a thought in anyone's mind. This is our, I believe, second oldest nomination this year, which will be duly taken by next week's nomination thereafter. But it's fifth. So, and he's nominating his draft pick of RGIII. Took him in the 9th round, number 83 overall in 2012. Coach Nathwani obviously joined the league in 2011, and it was a tough first season, as it is normally the case for first year coaches. We see 6 and 8, but that's certainly nothing to sniff at. Is it, Chris?
So 6 and 8, to be honest with you, you're one game away from being what I would call very average and having a good season in your first season.
Yeah.
So that's nothing to be ashamed.
No, absolutely. But in 2012, he would have a sophomore leap. And he had a 10-4 record, a division title, and a playoff appearance. And a large part of the reason for all of that is, of course, this Hall of Fame nominee. Robert Griffin III was a rookie in 2012. And, of course, as we know, in that season, scintillating is a good word to use. He was drafted only behind Andrew Luck. And, of course, he was the 9th round draft pick of the Dream Team. You don't really tend to see in the LOC too many rookie quarterbacks have much success, do you, Chris?
No, we haven't had that for very, very long. I mean, I know that Tom picked up Kyler Murray last year, thinking of doing this almost the same thing as this, albeit 7 years later. But you generally don't see a lot of people picking. I mean, if they go into, they're going to take a flyer in one of the final rounds. But this was reasonably high for a high risk. Let's say high risk, reasonably high risk pick. Complete unknown quantity in what is and still is a garbage team. So whatever they're going to be called next year, by the way, we didn't
even touch on that. Yeah, they are Redskins no more. Yeah,
we will touch on that in next week's episode, shall we? But we might. So
why not? Yeah.
But yes, that's it. Yeah, and I think that a team like this, who's taken Mike Vick in the same draft.
It's a good pairing. Only 2 picks before as well, though.
Absolutely, it's a very similar type. So they had a clear draft strategy when it comes to QB that year. They wanted someone who could be all action, and they certainly got 2 guys who were exactly that.
Yeah, for sure. Going back to the article then. So he didn't start in week 1. As with rookies out of the gate, they don't always start. He did for Washington though. But he went with Michael Vick in week 1, who got 20 points. It's nothing to sniff at. But Viv would lose that first week, 102 to 126. And RG3 wouldn't have changed that result, but he did have a very good career debut where he did have 29 points in his first game. And let's try and bring that up and see exactly what stats he got in that game. Here we go. Week 1.
The power of statistics.
Yeah, I know. You gotta love it. Gotta love it. So in week 1, he got 320 yards, 2 passing touchdowns, and 42 rush yards against New Orleans as well, whose defense at the time not great, but pretty good, and in New Orleans as well. So and Washington actually won that game. So pretty crazy debut.
Yeah, absolutely. That's it.
So that was week 1 for the Dream Team, a loss. But that performance was always going to be enough to start a quarterback controversy because RG3 did get the nod in week 2 over Mike Vick, and it was the right decision because once again RG3 would end up outscoring Michael Vick 32 to 24, as we can see here. There he is again, 206 pass yards, 1 passing touchdown, an INT, but 82 rush yards, and I can only imagine it's hidden there. Maybe on here, do we have the game logs? No, it's not from this season. But I can only imagine there was at least, 1 or 2 rushing touchdowns in there to go with that.
What a game that is, by the way. 140 to 129. Wow.
Another loss for the Dream Team. Yep. On to very undeservedly. Obviously, 100 points in the first week and 109. Yep. They would go 10-2 effectively over the rest of the season. So,
Can we talk about your dad's receiving trio on the other side? This is just the sort of like thing I like to delve deep into. This has got to be the last time that Mars Austin, Brandon LaFell, and Roddy White were a serviceable 3.
Don't forget Brandon Pettigrew at tight end.
Oh,
don't leave him out. That dynamo.
Wow. That's it. That's good. It's reassuring that the Jags were still shit then as well.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. So a pretty tough start for the Dream Team, but RG3 was going strong. He started again in week 3, where Viv finally got a well-deserved win. We go on to here. Against, unfortunately, you, Chris, 120 to 81. And again, Robert Griffin put up 27 points. Michael Vick only got 6 in week 3, so absolutely the right decision to go with them again. And just start the season hot. A good draft pick. You can't, it's the definition of a good draft pick.
Absolutely, especially that far down as well. That's it. We just say that Ray Rice scored 12 points.
That does help, but yeah, we don't like that. We don't like that.
No. Despite of the points that he likes, is questionable extracurricular activities.
In elevators, yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it was very good. And say when you have somebody like that who you draft low down, there's nothing more satisfying than after 3 or 4 weeks you think to yourself, "Wow, I got myself a start here. This is great."
Yeah.
In many other leagues, you think to yourself, "Well, I've got great trade potential with Mike Vick," but in this league, we don't think that. So at this point, he could have capitalised and got rid and done really well with somebody else. But yeah, I mean, say looking at that, you just can't argue with the numbers there. Say he's coming out the traps, and you think to yourself, "Wow, This guy is a bona fide. You know, he's here to stay. He's here to stay for a few years.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's say, as it turned out, it was only really 4.
We'll come on to that at the end. In the next game against ADRZ, 23 points and another win. A close game, 117 to 116 against ADRZ. But the floor had to come eventually. In week 5, RG3 did only score 4 points. But the Dream Team still won. Low score of 78-71, and then he.
How? Can we just see how that was? By the way,
Sure.
How can he score 4 points and still win?
That's the good old day.
This in years gone by, wow, it's against Ollie, and he's absolutely.
Matt Ryan turned up, as did LaShawn McCoy, and that was about it. Oh, and the Bengals defense, and I guess Justin Tucker, but
The Bengals defense. That's it. There you go. That's one stream you wouldn't do now.
no, certainly not. After that, RG3 did bounce back though with 37 points, taking down Iknan, as they were called at the time. Entering week 7.
At that point, you knew nothing.
Yeah, you still knew nothing at this point. So after those initial 2 losses, 4 wins on the trot. They would lose the next week, 94-90, but again RG3 got 27. But then he went back to the bench because in a quarterback controversy, the Dream Team signed Andrew Luck, this player, rookie quarterback duo, who helped them to a 117-69 victory over my team. Luck got 19, RG3 got 14 on the bench. You look puzzled.
How did he not win the league this year with those two?
Luck's rookie year was good. It was probably pretty good, but I think RG3 is just better. He won not offensive rookie of the year, of course. But the week after that, RG3 would get the starting role again, scoring 14 points in another win over touchdown syndrome. After that, it was RG3's bye, but the Dream Team still won. But then RG3 would not return for the rest of the regular season. So coming off his bye in week 11, he did post 40 points. Let's see. Have I made a clerical error in this article? Would not return to the bench for the rest of the season. Misread. That's my bad. In week 11, he put up 40 points, count them, against the Tarkvads, crucial to the victory, 128-103 against them. 4 passing touchdowns, Chris, 84 rushing yards, 200 pass yards.
I mean, this guy. This guy looked like a Hall of Famer in his first year, didn't he?
Yeah.
You can see why he wanted to try and put him in our Hall of Fame.
Yeah, indeed. He got 37 the very next week as well against ADRZ in another victory. 13 he got 20, and then in the final week he got 19 in a loss to your team.
I mean, I have to say, as nominations go here. That's it. And this is going to be ready. This is ready for the. This is the summing up here. It's going to make it very, very, very clear and very, very short. That's it. One. If we're nominating RG3 and we're doing this for the Dream Team Ring of Honor, then I would say vote for this guy. He belongs in the Ring of Honor. But let's take it a little bit. Viv, let's be honest, in the last 7 years, nearly 8 years, surely there has to be something else within those 8 years that are worth putting into the LOC Hall of Fame. This was 8 years ago, nearly. And, it's been through it once. Everyone thought, wow, that was 7 years ago, that's a long time. We'll try again next year when it's 8 years and people are still going to think, crikey, that was a long time ago.
I think this has been the nominated for 3 years in a row now. I think this was his initial nomination.
In that case, it doesn't get any better with age. This is not like a fine wine.
This is a store-bought wine. You don't age that. You need the right type of wine to age.
Indeed, this is like a corked wine. That's it's been open for some time. It doesn't get any better. It's festering away. much like RG3's career. So not only is this a player that, yes, had a very good, we can say, first year in a memorable season for the Dream Team. It tells you more maybe about the Dream Team's fares since then, that either maybe it hasn't been quite so memorable, or they haven't had as many memorable players as this. Yes, it's good value for the 9th round, but in terms of actual seasons, how many points did he score? It says in the thing, doesn't it? It says 358.
Yeah, I have it on this other one.
Can we see?
Yeah,
Can we see which mediocre quarterback scored 358 points last season?
Yeah. Give me a second. This is the beauty of live
hopefully I should demonstrate my point. So, who scored more than RG3, or as many as RG3 last year?
So it looks like there were 4 players who outscored RG3. But I think to properly compare this, it's probably fair if we change this. I don't know if it's going to display properly because it might not have all the players.
Please go 2011 or 2012. That would be good.
I'm not even sure if it's got the. Hold on, there must be somewhere. There must be somewhere that has on this website that has.
2012 general season.
Yeah.
Who was on par with RG3 that year? That will be it. I'm not going to completely rip this to shreds because this does belong in the categories that you've been watching over the last few weeks. You will know that we allocate these into categories such as all-time favourites, which I have an idea as to what I've got, and you probably by now would have noticed that.
Right, I think this is 4 point per passing touchdown, but it's all relative. So he would have actually been overvalued in this because he would have obviously got 6 points for the rushing touchdowns.
Okay, so 300.
He was 5th, basically. Probably.
He was 5th.
Probably.
So,
yeah, 5th.
Yeah. Okay.
One less game though. It's worth saying he only played in 14. In fact, sorry, this is going to week 16. Let's do it to 17. Damn you, fantasy pros. So still 5th. 320. Played one less game than all the other guys around him. With another game, he probably would have gotten to 4th. Yeah.
Okay. So a similar type of QB, which is Cam Newton, scored reasonably the same amount of points.
And he was only if you look at the top end there, he was he would have only, if he had that other game, if he used his average game, he's right up there with the top 3.
Yeah. Okay. So here's where I'm at. This is one of those that falls in the category of I'm really fond of this, but I haven't got anything else to put in there, so I'm going to put something that I'm really fond of. This is the number one in that category. This is probably the most obvious one in that category. If it's been the same for 3 years and you haven't got it in for the last 3 years, then just give up after this year. Try something else. Draft someone else in the 9th round this year that's going to be amazing.
Sure.
There's a time where 2012 seasons and stuff like that, players you draft in the 2012 season, you just have to put to the side and go, you know what, people don't care that much about it. But yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, this guy was great for 1 year, part of 1 year. In a season the Dream Team hasn't really been able to get to ever since. Whether that's by luck or by judgment or whatever. Is it Hall of Fame worthy for our league? No, it's not. So yeah. I think that great season, belongs in the Dream Team Ring of Honor. LOC wise, is it something that we can really shout and scream about? And can I wholeheartedly say, yes, everybody, put one of your 3 precious votes behind it. And for that, that's probably my strongest rejection of anything just yet. But yeah, I think that once you tried and then this time tried again, and no one's bited, it's time to try something different.
Yeah, so, for sure. So
that's the view.
Yeah. And just to wrap this up, so yeah, that game he missed was it was in the week 14 game. So he did miss that playoff game for the Dream Team. It wasn't the reason he lost. He actually had Colin Kaepernick in his stead, who got 34 points and lost to the Tuck Files. And then just to sum it up, Chris did a pretty good job there. So RG3 had an 8-3 record as the starter for the Dream Team. Scored 358 points in our league, and as we saw, he was around 5th in the total scoring. And of course, there's a 9th round pick where all those other guys like Breeze, Newton, and would have been very top end picks. I think some of those even went in the 1st round in this draft. As we also know, if RG3 was a member of the league, this would get his 3-point vote because this was his best year, and then he sadly obviously did tear his ACL in that the playoffs that year for the Redskins. The Washington team that plays in Washington. How about we go with that? They are not that team anymore. So he's not got a shot of entering the NFL Hall of Fame. We know. Viv keeps putting him up, so I guess in theory, for as long as he's put up, he has a chance to get in. But Chris, I think you can tell where Chris's votes won't be going, but it's obviously entirely up to you where yours will be. And so there you have it. That's the Dream Team's nomination there. So, and just to clean up, because we are getting very close to the time where we need to start voting now. So after next week's episode comes out, at that point the voting will basically open. And next week's episode will be on Wednesday the 22nd, I believe. So I think, when did I schedule? Actually, it doesn't really matter when I schedule the other podcast, but I usually kind of give 2 weeks for everyone to get their votes in, so it's the 22nd. So voting will close. There will be 2 weeks, and the votes will close on the 5th of August. So in that span, I will obviously let you know, and then if you could message me privately, this is a blind vote process, who you want your 3-point nomination to be, your 2-point and your 1-point. You have to spread them around. You can't use them on the same, but you can pick whichever ones you want. You cannot pick your own. And then simply the nomination with the most points is the one that is inducted into the Hall of Fame. And if it's a tie, 2-way or more, they'll all go in. It's just how we do it. So, there you have it. Thank you, Chris. That was thanks for joining. And I hope you have the good rest of your week. And we will be back with you next Wednesday for the final nomination in the off-season series. I am going to rapidly bring up my outro music because I forgot to do that already. And again, I will remember to turn on the speakers for you so you are not deafened. But with that, I will say goodbye.